everyone, and welcome to 9 Pitches. I'm Jack from Cultaholic.com with a slightly different lineup this time because Adam Pacitti is on his big birthday bender still this week. He's just been absolutely reckless, hasn't he? And Ross is sadly ill, but I have got some worthy replacements in the form of Tom Campbell.
Oh, stop it. Hi, friends.
Sam Driver. How are you guys doing?
I was always going to be doing this video, I'll have you know.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, all right. Sorry about that.
You'll always be a worthy replacement in all of our hearts.
Yeah.
And Tom?
Yes.
Yeah, you good?
I'm really good, mate. Yeah,
Excellent.
bank holiday weekend, isn't it?
Absolutely. I'm excited for that, and I'm also excited for the Wednesday Night Wars. NXT and AEW going at it. This 9 Pitches video will be 9 things we want to see happen when NXT moves to USA, basically, to the USA network. It's not things, as the rule always goes on these videos, it's not the things that we think will happen, it's what we want to happen. I do it. It's all right.
Can we do that again?
It's not the things that we think will happen, it's what you
want to happen. Yeah.
And obviously let us know yours in the comment section down below as well. Now we do this in a cyclical fashion, and everyone does a pitch, and then the other two will give it a yes or a no, and then we move on, and then at the end there's like a winner or something.
Yeah, we just tally up everybody's
but do we?
yeses or nos.
It's a little bit never mind the buzzcocksy, really, isn't it?
What's the top prize? Is it a trophy or
Thing
not?
is, that's what Pacitti at the end just goes, and the winner is Ross, or just whatever, but I don't know.
Hold on. The top
We've
prize
got a prize.
Oh,
The top prize is, hold on. Let's have a look.
We have a pack of WWE Slap
Well,
Attacks cards.
I mean, there is only one worthy prize here. It's NXT's own Kona Reeves.
yes, absolutely.
You
Loner
actually-
to the non-loner.
It's not
Get
the
in.
card. It's not the card. You actually win Kona Reeves.
Fair enough.
Comes to stay at your house.
He's stuck with you now, whoever wins.
Sam, with that underway, do you want to kick us off with your first pitch?
So, as the resident NXT, and I said resident TNA boy there, as the resident NXT boy, I think that one thing I'd like to see is the absorption of 205 Live. And not a straight up absorption, but I'll get onto that.
Okay, all right.
So just a few, a select number of people from 205.
There's like a big worry about the fact that 205 Live is about to get cancelled. Like about to get just canned, done, gone, nobody cares, see you later. So I think it makes sense that these guys are going to get, if that does happen, they're going to get pushed around a bit. But I think that it'd make sense to bolster NXT's roster with some of the cruiserweights.
Okay, some.
Yes.
Which
So-
some?
I think, like, I don't know if it means you split them into 3. So some go to Raw, some go to SmackDown, some go to NXT. But 205 Live's roster's only like 12 people. There aren't really a lot. And I think if you sort of take away cruiserweight status from some of them and just lob them on the main roster like they did with Buddy Murphy, then that'll be fine.
Would you keep the Cruiserweight Championship, though? Would it become like a
Yes,
floating
the
title?
Cruiserweight Championship would go to NXT.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Because NXT has a lot of tiny non-actual wrestlers, doesn't it? Guys that are like normal build and aren't, the size of 2 fridges strapped together.
Yes. All right. I understand that. What would you say? Do you think the ones who don't quite make the cut, or are they just released? Or no, you've said there's a small roster, they all get split.
There's a
3
small
ways.
roster, they all get split 3 ways. Some will go to SmackDown. I think guys like Tozawa, he'd be fine. Brian Kendrick, I think he'd be fine.
Yeah.
Guys that have more to offer than just sort of, light, nimble, and flippy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the guys I'd want to take over, because if you look at it, like NXT already has Humberto Carrillo, Garza, Swerve, and Lorcan.
Yeah.
They're not exclusive to 205 Live.
Yeah.
So I think you've got a good degree of flippy guys there with NXT already. I think you take Gulak, Kanellis, and Nice. You take 3 of the bigger guys.
Ooh.
Actually, Canellis is a good shout.
Because Gulak would work very well
Yes.
in NXT because he's such a good character, especially to continue the heel thing. Kanellis, he's got a kid on the way and a 5-year contract. I think being able to be based at Full Sail for a while would help with that. And I think that giving him that space in NXT in front of a smaller crowd, he would be able to properly shine. Nice, because it's Tony Nice.
Okay.
Mr. Abs. I think you have him in NXT for a while before he jumps across. But I think, those are the 3 I would take. I'm just seeing if there's anything else I've got down here.
Lindsay Dorado, friend.
Lindsay he's not 205 Live.
What?
Lindsay
He's
Dorado's
Raw, isn't he?
he's Raw.
House Party Friends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
God. He's
are.
been appearing on 205, hasn't he?
Yeah, consistently, but he's not 205 Live talent.
Yes, he is.
He's not. He's Raw.
Got brand split, didn't he?
Yes,
But
he
yeah,
did.
I think you take the cruiserweight belt to NXT, and yeah, it's just sort of you keep that division alive, and it's a belt that can be contested for on TV, without tarnishing like the North American, not tarnishing, but without getting too much road wear out of the NXT and the North American titles.
Okay.
You putting them in with more work rate based guys that are just coming in fresh, leads to more exciting matchups, more must see wrestling up against AEW. I think adding the cruiserweights to NXT is a great idea.
Okay, right. Let's do the judgment time. Tom?
I'm with the idea up until bringing the cruiserweight title in. Because I'm thinking only from merely an aesthetic point of view, I don't feel like that belt fits.
Have you seen that belt on black?
NXT. No, I've only seen
I've
it
seen
in
it
beautiful
when it's
black.
under the lights, and it looks like it's a black belt.
Yeah, I saw somebody got one of theirs re-leathered to be on black, and it's beautiful.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, it's the aesthetic bit and the fact that it's a WWE title being contested on NXT. It's weird aesthetics for me. It's a weird little... But I like the idea of bringing like the correct guys in that could benefit. So I'm going to give it a yes anyway, despite my issues with the belt.
I'm going to give it a tentative yes also.
Don't you all lumber me with Kona Reed.
Same reason.
I can't afford to keep him.
Kona's coming home. Same reason, but slightly different reasoning.
Yes.
So also, I agree with it up until the cruiserweight title going on there, because I think that it maybe the cruiserweight title would be more exciting as a floating one, as Tom suggested, going to Raw, SmackDown,
It
NXT.
could float.
And also, I just feel like takeovers have like 5 matches on them.
Yeah.
So there's already 3 belts, 4 in fact.
Just wait.
Tag, North American, main one, and the women's one. I think with 5, that doesn't leave much room for non-title storyline bridge matches.
Till my next idea.
What? How am I meant to know that, Sam? I don't
you
know
gonna
what's going on. I'm not a mind reader.
I think,
but I'm
like,
still giving it a yes, though.
I don't know.
Yes.
You could maybe bring in the cruiserweight belt and just change it to a TV belt.
Okay. I
Like-
feel like AEW are going to bring in a TV belt.
Yeah, they will, because NWA and that in it. Old days.
Yes.
Telly wrestling.
I hope they bring in like some sort of name, like the tri-state belt, whatever that means.
Oh, that sounds
What's a
deliciously
tri-state?
carny.
County champion.
Village champion. It's a yes for Sam. He is 1-0.
Boom.
Tom Campbell, what is your first
And
pick?
Mine is a similar idea to bolster the NXT roster for this 2 hours, but instead of using the 205 Live lads, using the lads from NXT UK.
Oh.
So I'm pitching to my boys today an NXT UK Invasion.
Okay.
Of NXT, not full time.
You said it like a member of British Strong Style as well. The Midlands came out. An NXT Invasion.
Oh, you're pretty NXT UK Invasion for my boys.
Better watch out because Toilet Bite's going to come and mess you up.
Funny enough, right? What about I can't talk like that. I gotta go back to transatlantic. One of my Brummy boys is actually at the centre of this because obviously you've already got Pete Dunne over on the NXT roster. You've got William Regal running NXT.
Yes.
So you've got 2 catalysts in there who could kick this off. Now, to have the idea, it just works for 2 ways. One, it gives a new wrinkle to NXT, and also it potentially expands the audience of NXT UK.
Right. So would they still? This is a temporary angle.
This is just a story. This could be something that they run, like the fact that Pete Dunne has just gone over there.
Yeah.
It could almost be, somebody's randomly attacked somebody else.
Yes.
Not the guy who did Roman Reigns, it's somebody else. And the result could be that it was Pete Dunne who was behind it, and he brings in the NXT UK lads. And I thought maybe either William Regal, who runs NXT, is either going to be the one of the catalysts or the first victim.
Okay, right.
And I feel like he needs to be the first victim.
That's an interesting way to look at it. And also, you've got War Games coming up, which is made for that sort of angle as well.
Exactly. So you've got, potentially Imperium up against Undisputed Era is a although it's heel and heel, there's a potential there for something quite exciting to happen.
Yeah.
Grizzled young veterans are at that point, I think, where you could put them in with an NXT tag team.
And also, I think everyone's kind of maybe forgotten, or those who aren't familiar with the UK indie scene, that I think the British Strong Style are way better as heels than babyfaces. It's just because they've been babyface on NXT UK, but when they're heels, like they were in the heyday of like Progress and everything, they're really, really good when they're heels. Coming out dressed as the Peaky Blinders and all that.
It's a great look. It's a great look for them. So and it could really freshen them up.
Do you not think it might be damaging to one of or both brands?
In what sense?
In the sense that maybe I think American audiences might not be as familiar with NXT UK. Maybe they don't watch it. If you then start dedicating a large portion of the show to these guys that nobody really watches or knows, you've got a really big uphill battle then of you've got to get them over.
Yeah.
And also 9 hours to fly over and attack somebody every week.
Hey, they're making a lot of money at the moment. Vince is chucking contracts around left, right, and centre. They got the money to get those air miles up.
I am going to give my verdict.
Okay.
That's not why I said it. It's
God.
time for me to decide. I'm going to give it a yes, but as long as it's just a temporary one.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be a permanent thing. It'd be more a case of way of building
Yeah.
the UK guys and giving a different wrinkle to NXT.
Yes.
I think I could see it working as a War Games match, like make it a 3-week storyline or something, maybe a month-long storyline. But yeah, I think if you extend it any further than that, you risk damaging, I think, NXT UK for me as a brand, because what if the crowd gets behind somebody and it's like, well, get them over to the US, and it leaves their show a bit weaker? Or I'd worry about all those things, but I'm a born warrior. But I think I'd give it a yes. I could see it working. I could see it working as a War Games match.
Come to me, Kona. Come to Daddy.
Is he going to shift along the table as it goes
It's
on?
like a Ouija board, like a Kona Ouija board.
Here, Kona.
Come by.
My first pitch is going to directly concern the first 2 weeks of NXT on USA, because that's the 2 weeks before AEW starts. And they're going to be 2 very crucial weeks. And then obviously the third week's going to be crazy, because that's going to be the big kickoff of the Wednesday Night Wars, or whatever we're going to call it. So I think on week 1, the whole point of this generally is kind of occasional integration with Raw and SmackDown, but not too much. But I think a good way to kick off NXT, at some point in the first week, not during a match, it doesn't ruin any of the spotlight or any of the NXT regulars, but at some point, Adam Cole's kind of heel promos, I'm the best, I'm the champion, blah, blah. Seth Rollins answers the call and goes, I'll wrestle you next week then. Next week, on week 2, they go to a 30-minute draw. Immediately put NXT on the sort of same level as Raw and SmackDown. Obviously, a draw is crowds don't really respond that well to a draw, but I think
if the match is good, I think they will.
Right. That's my. And then the third week, it's all systems go. Here we go. And Rollins doesn't come back maybe he doesn't come back at all, but just for that first week, you can say even I was the first NXT champion, and then they have a nice wrestle, and it's a draw.
I've got an addition to this.
Oh, hang on. Okay.
So instead of them going to a draw in the second week, who comes out to disrupt things and just end it?
Kona Reeves. Here we go.
No, lights go out, come back up. Tommaso Ciampa's got a chair, beats the ever-living poo out of them. And then it's a 3-way. And then Johnny's going to try and insert himself and be told by Regal, no, go away.
But I like
Nobody likes you, Johnny.
My idea. I won't mind it being a little. I like yours as
like,
well, but
I think yours works better in terms of a standpoint of making it equal. Like Vince's whole thing's making it equal. So I think having Seth Rollins on there, definitely.
Okay. Or Triple H and Vince wrestle it with 30-minute draw. Like, it's one or the other. So I'm not saying which.
Seth would have to, talk constantly through the match about how he's engaged.
Yeah. Engaged in the match. We're going to pretend that never happened. So yeah, I reckon that's my pitch. Seth Rollins, Adam Cole, 30-minute time limit draw.
I like it. I'm actually going to throw you a yes as well.
Yeah, I can see this happening.
A little bit over. I think it's just. Well, I think it's a nice way to establish, as you say, Adam Cole and establish NXT as a competitive brand for people.
Yeah,
I think.
And it doesn't have to be necessarily. I mean, towards the end of the match, the era could try and get involved and he knocks them off the apron or whatever, but it just has to be no one loses. That's my only thing.
There's also something quite contrarian about them going, hey, you're all complaining that there's going to be big changes to how we run NXT. Have a half an hour time limit draw.
At first I thought that's going to take up too much of the show. Then I realized, no, it's going to 2 hours now.
They did 40 minutes on 205 this week.
So maybe it'll be all right. That's why I wanted to make it the second week, though, rather than the first week has this big half an hour match, in case people are like, it's not for me. So Sam?
Or what? My opinion on that?
No,
or
your
next one?
verdict.
My verdict on that is a yes. I'd like to see, even if it wasn't Seth, I'd like to see like a main roster star. Like Brock Lesnar come down, squash Adam Cole, take the NXT belt and leave. And then Vince appears on screen and says, we've sold the company, and out comes Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
Jarrett runs NXT.
Let's go.
No, it's just WWE.
10 pitches.
Let's go swiftly on to Sam's second pitch.
So mine is, what do people like in wrestling? People like nostalgia. People like to be able to go, oh, I remember that. And the big thing with this is that AEW are running limited pay-per-views, aren't they?
Yes.
They're not running
For a
like
year, I think.
Yeah, they're not running like monthly pay-per-views. I think they'll probably run like bigger shows, but they'll go out in like the TV slot maybe, or they'll not be full-blown pay-per-views. My idea for NXT to combat this is to have free TV or network, depending where you are in the world, in your house. Bring it back.
Oh, in your house.
Because it gives you 2 hours or 3 hours, however long you want to do it. NXT is going to go up to 2 hours. The problem here is that TakeOver is a perfect time. And I think like they don't really want to extend TakeOver into the 5-hour realms that the rest of the other pay-per-views do. So I think that these monthly shows could allow for storylines on TV to develop and blow off. And really the main draw to this is the extension of, say Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano. They have a match there and it extends it further into the next TakeOver.
Yeah, right.
But the rest of that card is just blow off after blow off after blow off of TV feuds. And then you'll keep all your champions and your main storylines running through a TakeOver via, dusty finishes or whatever on the card.
How often would these be?
Monthly. I think
except for a month when there's a TakeOver.
Except for a month when there's a TakeOver.
Right.
Are we sold on the name In Your House?
It'll be In Your House, Tom.
In Your House, Tom. Everyone's called In Your House, Tom.
I know. I've only got a small living room.
I don't like. I'm just using In Your House as a concept.
Yeah, the idea.
But
of,
instead
like,
of it
shows.
being like a cheaper pay-per-view, it's free. It airs in the slot. So it'll be like a blockbuster episode of NXT that maybe goes an extra hour or something. But it will have a title match on it, a women's title match on it. A blow off to 2 feuds that then the guys can go separate ways after that.
And you've answered my point about your first pitch about there not being enough space for the Cruiserweight belt.
Yeah.
There would be space.
There'd be space for it there.
Right.
You've got like a TV belt like that, then you can use that on the In Your House style shows.
I'm going to play spoiler, and I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. It's a no from me. No, it doesn't mean you don't. You can go. It's your punishment to keep Kona. I like the idea of having.
I want somebody to carry my bags.
You're listening?
He's really tall.
He is very tall. You can put loads of bags on him. I like the idea of having it so you build to TV, not just pay-per-views all the time.
Yeah.
Because that's a great concept. But NXT already do that quite well, where they do the whole thing. Well, in 2 weeks' time, this is happening, this is happening.
They do, but there's a lot of dead space on the roster. There's a lot of it'll just be like, here's a match, and then you'll never see that guy again for 3 weeks. Whereas with the extra TV time and a thing like this concept, you could build that little match into a little blow-off feud, and then you can actually test people when you think they're good enough to come in off the road. You can put them in a little feud, see how they do with it, and it's not a pay-per-view. It's a free TV thing, and if it's a dud, it's a dud. But no harm, no foul.
But I feel like you can already. I feel like like you said, it's a smaller roster.
It's like a mini takeover.
But there's room to breathe. With a 2-hour show, there's already now you've got more room to breathe anyway.
Yeah, but it's also a worry because if they're already sort of filling out an hour perfectly, what are they going to do for that extra hour?
Well, that is where you can have matches, like you're saying, these big blow-off matches go longer. If you say you have Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic having a little tete-a-tete, you can say in 3 weeks' time they're having a match and they're going to sort it all out. It's last man standing, whatever. And you can give them half an hour. You can, because then you've got another 90 minutes to do a normal NXT show, and you haven't got. And it's. I like the general concept. What you're saying is, don't have everything build to pay-per-view.
Well, half the stuff gets left off takeovers because there's only 5 slots.
Which is why I like what you're saying.
A load of feuds just get forgotten about because they just end because takeover happens, then they do a new taping.
Which is why I like what you're saying in general. I just don't think you just need to book smarter with the TV. IMHO. That's just my opinion.
I like it, but I'm also going to give it a no. Unfortunately, I like it, but I'm also going to give it a no. Unfortunately, just because
I'm never editing either of your videos again.
What are you just going to draw like willies on our faces?
Yeah, massive dick.
One of my favorite things about, and I do like it, and I do agree with your points that there are chunks of the roster that go missing for weeks at a time, or matches that should be on TakeOver get left off TakeOver. But one thing that I think is one of NXT's great strengths is that occasionally their TV is more exciting. Like if you tune into NXT weekly, there's more likelihood of something monumental happening than on a standard Raw or a standard SmackDown.
Yeah,
I think maybe if you introduce these monthlies, it could kind of take that away and make that less often on TV. Yeah, and it would become more of just a standard show. I don't know. I think in an ideal world, no, it wouldn't. But that's what I'm going to give it.
It could give people the chance to see more stipulation matches though on TV. you'd
Okay.
get to see like crazier stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's a fair
Yeah.
point as well. Unfortunately, I'm gonna.
It's very political.
with the
now.
no
Well,
pitch,
both
isn't it?
your next ones can get out.
I was going to say, yeah, I've got
No
one.
matter
I've
what.
got one coming up next that I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure is gonna get rubbished anyway, so it's fine.
It's you next, in
Is
fact.
it me next?
Yeah.
It is you
Oh,
next.
excellent. Okay. Similar vein to what you had for your first pitch.
Okay.
But it blows off something that's already been played up. Matt Riddle calls out Goldberg
Oh, Goldberg.
or Lesnar.
I was gonna say not Lesnar.
Or
Either
Lesnar.
either
I think.
or.
Well, I was originally I would put down Matt Riddle calls out Lesnar.
Okay.
You're
But
gonna
then
get
obviously-
Brock Lesnar into Full Sail.
Well, no. This is the thing. I'm not. But you first, you're gonna have it. So Matt Riddle comes out and goes, right, Brock Lesnar next week, come Full Sail, come have a match with us. Week comes by, no one turns up. Second week. Come on, then.
Lesnar comes
Come
out.
on then,
It's Gilbert.
Keith Lesnar, the carpenter. Second week comes out, no one comes out. Then Killian Dane maybe comes out, and Matt Riddle has a blinder with him and beats him. Third week, come on, you coming out or not? Paul Heyman comes out.
Okay.
Now Heyman it's not against the realms of possibility that Paul Heyman would turn up at Full Sail. Heyman comes out and goes, look, Brock Lesnar is a millionaire. Why on earth would he come here? He never needed the development system like NXT. He doesn't need it now.
He also held UFC gold, which Riddle never did.
Exactly. So it's like, so Heyman's like, look, you're lucky I'm even here. Like this is, you're blessed. I nearly sent somebody on my behalf. But look, I'm here to say, look, just wind it in. This has all been very cute, but wind it in. This isn't happening. Then you have Riddle come out on Raw. Riddle come at Lesnar on Raw. That eventually leads to maybe at a takeover. So then you have it at a takeover. Whether or not you have Lesnar versus Riddle at takeover, or whether you just have them get into it. Now the problem is that from here I don't know how we come out of the other side.
It's a
of
brilliant
this.
half of an idea.
Do you know what? It's half a pitch. It's 8.5 pitches for NXT on USA.
Lesnar ain't losing.
But also there is something about, I know you're saying about you wouldn't get Brock Lesnar into Full Sail, correct? But you would get Lesnar on the USA Network, which is the thing, which is
Yeah.
where the eyes would be. It wouldn't be like on a network special. This is Lesnar potentially appearing at Full Sail, on a big channel. But that's my pitch. It's slightly half baked, half-hearted, and half-witted. But
I think
Riddle Lesnar.
I think you're more likely to get Riddle Goldberg happening. Goldberg would turn up at Full Sail.
Yeah.
But Lesnar, he ain't getting out of bed unless Vince is just prepared to throw money at him in potato sacks. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I like the idea and I'd love for something like that to happen, but I wouldn't have Riddle go to Raw. Or if I do, he's going to turn up, attack him, and then go back to Full Sail without anything happening.
Yeah.
And then Brock has to come to Full Sail. But then the problem there is Brock ain't going to lose. And Riddle can't lose. So how do you get around
I
it?
think Riddle could lose if it was a
Unless you have Goldberg
competitive
cost him
match.
and then he faces Goldberg and beats Goldberg.
This is all getting crazy.
Oh, this is pie in the sky booking. This is, yeah, potentially. I mean, like I said, it's a half-baked idea, and I quite like the idea of it potentially leading. But then, like I said, Riddle, the only way that Riddle can have that and lose and come out okay is if the match is competitive. Like if Riddle gets clattered by Brock Lesnar.
Can Brock do a competitive match?
Yeah, of course he
course
can.
he can.
Yeah, Rollins and Balor.
Actually, that's fair.
we just only get final boss Lesnar these days.
Yeah.
So he can actually go full whack if he wanted to. If he likes the sort of story is if Brock Lesnar likes the guy he's working with, then he'll actually go.
Yeah, he'll go.
There you go.
It's
a no, innit?
I'll give it a yes, but a tentative yes, because I don't know where it's got. I don't know the end. You know what I mean? It's an unfinished yes. It's like a.
It's a yeah.
It's a yeah. It's like yeah. It's yeah.
I'm just because I can't see how it benefits Riddle, because I can't see him beating Lesnar. It has to be a no for me.
That's fair enough.
My next pitch concerns the Women's Championship, but it's a bit of a loose and reckless one, so I'm not fully anticipating a yes. But basically, we know that Shayna Baszler's been a dominant champion. She's seen off Bianca Belair, she's seen off Mia Yim now, and various other challenges. And I think it's time, I think it's time for a title change, and I think that could be the big thing that blows up episode 1, A New Hope of NXT. So that New Hope is also a heel. That's the reason that I'm like, I think that there should be a women's title match, and Io Shirai should just not demolish her, it shouldn't be a squash, obviously, but should comprehensively beat her and take the women's title, and that can be a big talking point of the first week of NXT on USA. The only problem is, of course, it's heel versus heel, and maybe it does a disservice to Shayna because she's had such a long reign. Maybe she deserves a bigger way to lose it.
No, Shayna's all weak now.
Weak now?
Yeah, she came out on NXT this week and she was like, "Come on, Miriam, you took me to places nobody else took me. Join the Horsewomen."
Okay.
Which is so not Shayna's
Your
character.
hatred of the NXT Women's Division's booking is just, it knows no bounds.
It annoys me so much because like Shayna, it's not something a character would do. I know she's sort of like a snivelly sort of evil, will do anything to hold onto the belt type thing, but like I'm not buying Mia Yim as this like badass credible threat that could destroy Shayna Baszler, who is a real life. Essentially, she could murder you with her hands.
So how does that affect my pitch? I don't know if that makes my pitch better or worse. I don't know what's going on.
I think like what I mean is like they could carry on this whole thing of Shayna worrying about like losing the belt to Mia Yim and that distracting her so much that Io Shirai just comes in and takes it. But I think Shayna is like a chaotic heel. Io Shirai is more like a calculated, she's going to take what she wants type heel.
Okay, she's like an assassin.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
So what do you...
I think, yeah.
Okay, I was not anticipating that.
As long as it's not Mia Yim, because I think now...
I've never mentioned... It's okay. You
don't
need to worry about me.
I know, but I said like in terms of a title change, as long as it's not Mia Yim, because I think right now, I don't know if the audience would really get behind it, but at the same time, like she's going to be champion someday, and she's going to be great, but I think this storyline, like it just feels a bit disjointed. So if somebody else holds the belt for a bit, and then Mia takes it off her, but I think Io Shirai is a good candidate to take the belt off.
Well, I've accidentally kind of... My pitch has accidentally nuked that storyline that you don't like. So that's accidentally...
Yeah,
what a happy accident. Yeah, okay. Tom.
I like it. I like the idea of...
this is a no. I can tell it's a no from the...
He wants Kona Reeves.
I'm going to upset you both at the same time.
Oh, no.
I know. I like the idea that... the first episode of NXT is like Irma Gerd title change.
Yeah.
I love that. But I think for all the reasons that you said, Sam, because of the continuity, it should be Mia Yim that does it.
That's a fair... No, I see what you mean.
I do agree. I do agree that I don't believe that Shayna... I don't believe Shayna's shtick of like, "Oh, Mia, you're the biggest challenge I've ever had." I said I don't believe that personally.
It's the thing that...
that's the continuity.
The thing with Mia Yim is like they don't seem to know what they've got with her character because she's really good. But like she's in this huge feud with Shayna, which is great. She was taking out the horsewomen in like parking lots and stuff. Great. Performance center, great. Like promo work's been great. It's been on point. And then she's just still in a feud with like Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah, which is about like, we're more popular than you, like high schooly. And it's like, why would you have that booking? Like you've got her in this main picture and then you've also got her all the way down the card. And it's like, I don't understand why she's sort of jumping between these two worlds instead of just going straight after Shayna and that's her goal.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Mia's. I think there's been a better class of performer and a better class of feud,
right,
than the currently Shayna and Mia Yim. And again, like you say, Mia Yim will eventually be an NXT Women's Champion. But I just don't buy this at the time. But I think if you're gonna do that, I think it has to be with. But having said that, I like Io Shirai at the moment.
I really like Io Shirai
and
as
I'm
well.
really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And the idea of something mad like Shirai beating Shayna, I wouldn't have her beat her soundly.
Okay.
But I think that sort of completely
does
snuffs
Shayna
it
a disservice.
It needs to be definitive. It needs to be like she needs to absolutely murder Shayna after a very hard fought match.
Yeah.
It needs to be merciless because then it makes when Candice eventually takes it off Io.
I think
that
I was
makes
going to
Candice
say
a star.
Candice is the one who has to eventually beat you after a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, so mixed bag.
Yeah. Do you know what? Just for the shock of
Oh my God.
just for the shock of like a big championship win on the night, I'll give it a tentative yes anyway.
It's a yes from me.
Yeah, tentative yes anyway.
How are you going to afford to feed Kona Reeves?
I don't know.
He probably eats a lot of protein.
He probably does.
Kona.
I'll get one of those like meat crates or whatever they do, the deals where they just send you loads of meat.
He's got like a lot of expensive clothes as well, so you're probably going to need a dry cleaner and probably give him some pocket money.
Like a B&M
You
bargain.
can go down the shop and get some like Gucci stuff.
Sam, your third and final pitch, please.
Now, as Ross isn't here today, I feel that it would be sad to not do something really
A
outlandish.
silly one.
Yeah.
Tom, you don't know this. Ross once pitched that Shane McMahon should hit George so hard, I think, that he flies through the bars of the cage.
The grates
and
of the
turns
cage.
into, because George is a potato, turns into chips.
Crisps, yeah,
Yeah,
chips,
crisps,
yeah.
chip, one of the two. And we were like, so.
And then
so your
was it
pitch
like
is
the little chips got up and started fighting Shane?
Yeah, so we were like, this is your pitch of what you want to see. And he
Pitch
was,
that down, you'll get a yes,
but he
mate.
wasn't
You'll
even
get
like,
a yes.
he wasn't even like, I know it's silly. He was just like, as if it could actually happen. He was like, yeah, so yeah, I'm looking forward
But
to it.
he got part of it right because he was like, falls over on the way to the ring.
George did fall.
He fell on the way to the
George did
ring.
fall over. Right, so yes. What's this outlandish? I mean, it's,
Shane
I'm not
punching George so
expecting-
hard he goes back in time.
I'm not expecting this Ross levels, but yes
So,
with it.
my thing, and this isn't something that I want to see really, but it's just me doing something that would be funny to
doing
see.
a Ross.
Yeah, doing a Ross. Bray Wyatt single-handedly destroys AEW.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
So, Bray Wyatt responded to a fan like last night, at the time of recording, who sent him like a Husky Harris gif. And he blamed Cody Rhodes for the Husky Harris gif.
Why?
Because of the NXT era, he was his mentor, I believe.
Oh,
Season 2.
And so he essentially put all of that on Cody and said, but, you know, out of the ashes of this, of somebody trying to make themselves famous off me, off my back or whatever, a butterfly emerged. And then obviously he became what he is now. But my theory is that because he's so incensed by this, and he keeps him up at night, which is why the Fiend's a thing, because he's just not sleeping. And he's just losing his mind.
he's angry.
Yeah. And he's stewing over it and stewing over it. He's been stewing over it for years, right? So he decides when it goes to USA Network, he requests to move across. Not permanently. He just freely flows across on Wednesday nights. And using his amazing wrestling powers and his mystical powers, he essentially shutters New Japan, Impact Wrestling,
Right.
Ring of Honor, and finally AEW.
How does he do this?
Wow.
Sorry? How does he do
He's
it?
got like mystical powers, doesn't he?
So what does it
Swamp
look
people.
like on screen?
I don't know, Hypnotoad?
Oh yeah.
In fairness, if they
Yes.
just gave him an hour-long Firefly Funhouse, it would happen anyway. But like, he essentially makes all these companies shutter their doors, and once again, WWE is the only game in town. And Cody Rhodes returns with his tail between his legs, and who's he met by on his first day back?
Kona Reed. That's right. No.
Huskins the pig.
He's met by Bray Wyatt, who hands him the Husky Harris gear, and Cody Rhodes is forced to be Husky Harris for the remainder of his career.
Brandy Harris.
Bray manages to get his revenge for all of the years of hurt.
Right. I mean, as soon as you mentioned Hypnotoad, it was a yes from me. It was like my favourite Futurama.
It's absolutely a yes from me as well. I'm completely
Done.
down. But then why stop with the Fiend shutting down wrestling companies? Like, I want to see an episode of EastEnders where like he appears behind the bar in the Queen Vic.
The lights in the Queen Vic go off one by one. They're all like,
Bray, if you're watching,
Alfie,
mate, you
what's
just
going
tell
on?
us a list of companies you don't like, and we'll just do that.
Just TV shows. Turning up during a Sillet Bang advert. Like,
just going down
I'm
the
Barry
road.
Scott, dead.
Imagine
Dirt is gone.
What's he called? What's the character from Coronation Street? Kevin Webster.
Kevin Webster.
Just going down the Rovers, and then the lights just turn on. And you're like, what's going on?
the Coronation Street theme's playing, but in the intro, the cat's dead. Lying on top of the wall. And then it slowly slows down until it turns into static.
John, can you Photoshop the Fiend in Coronation Street, please?
John.
we need-
Photoshop John Eiley to the rescue.
Like the EastEnders opening, London just slowly starts burning.
Amazing. I'm down for that.
Yes, Tom, follow that if you can.
If you
I've got
dare.
a semi-serious final one.
Well, mine was fairly serious, but I feel like I need to up the ante because like you know how Lex Luger turned up on WCW
Yes.
during a live episode of Nitro.
Yes.
An AEW guy turns up on NXT, on a live
Which
NXT.
who?
Now I'm thinking MJF would be hilarious
Oh, he turns up
on
but
NXT.
But is he jump ship or is he
Jump
is
ship.
he representing AEW?
Jump ship.
Oh wow.
Well, like they do it as if like, oh, what side is he on?
Yeah,
but he's
yeah.
really signed on
Okay.
the old choir.
MJF's an interesting one. He would definitely sell out his pals to do that.
Of course he
Yeah,
would.
bloody MJF.
Sean Spears, Ty Dillinger goes
He's
back.
just left.
Is he
He's just
Sean
left in a
Spears
big
is-
way.
Yeah, I feel like
Oh.
I like the MJF one a lot. That would be the ultimate heel move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you wanted to mix up the women's division, Dr. Britt Baker turns up on NXT with the women's championship.
Oh, throws it in the no.
Or if we're doing silly answers now, just Lex Luger
I
turns
was
up
gonna
on
say,
NXT.
if you can just have Lex Luger, I'd love that.
In the same like poofy white shirt, just like arms like this as Kona Reeves is fighting Mansoor.
And then he starts, he just stops being all serious during the ad break, and Hogan starts actually threatening him from the ring.
That was a
That's
real
what
thing.
happened, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was like all intense and looking at Hogan, right?
Yeah.
And then they went, cleared for ad, and then he just went, and started looking at his feet, and Hogan's still in the ring, like trying to get the crowd hyped and keep them going. And Hogan starts going, he's like, "You mother, I'm gonna go, like, kick your head in," and starts having to scream abuse at him. At which point Luger's like, "Oh yeah," and then starts selling again.
I was
taking money out my pocket, brother, was the line that Hogan said to Luger backstage.
I was watching an OSW the other day, and it was the one when they recap whichever War Games match it was, when it's Hogan, Sting, Luger, and Savage against the Dungeon of Doom. And they all come out dressed in camo gear.
Oh,
And it's just a promo before that is just Luger, Savage, Sting, and Hogan.
Was this when Hogan shaved and changed completely?
No, this is before that.
Yeah.
But they're all
talking
at the same time. They're all getting in each other's way.
and then they all leave, and then doesn't one come back?
So they all run off. Savage doesn't want Hogan because in between they all take turns cutting a promo, but because it's Hogan, in between each promo, he then cuts a little promo.
Yeah,
He's
of course.
That's right, Mean Gene. And they're all just standing in front of him and going like, look at us instead. Jimmy Hart's in the background looking over all their shoulders like, I'm here as well. And Savage just has had enough and he's like, let's go. And he like leads the other three off, or the other two off. Hogan just starts cutting a promo on his own. So they all come back in to steal the spot like that. You can see Savage just runs across going like, that's right. It's so good.
It is incredible.
They're so fired up and they're all dressed in camo. It's so stupid, but it's brilliant.
Amazing.
There's like a big American flag because Jimmy Hart's like the standard bearer. It's so good.
Wrestling's
They won the match, surprisingly, actually. Anyway, yes. Sorry. Yes. Did you have more to...
No, that was it. Just that was the whole shock and the awe. I think it's probably more likely for it to go the other way.
Absolutely.
To have like, oh my god,
Tell you what, if this war...
what's Coley Adam doing in the Impact Zone, Maggle?
If this war goes on for long enough, it'll be really interesting when the first one happens the other way. That'll be a really interesting thing. And if it is MJF, that'd be brilliant. I'd love that. Because he's meant to be Cody's best friend.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I feel like he'd do that, though.
I feel like he'd do that.
My only issue with it is, like, I'd love to see it. I would absolutely love to see somebody from AEW just jump across straight away on like week one. But they are contracted up the arse and through the eyeballs.
You pitched Bray Wyatt taking over the world.
You pitched Bray Wyatt turning up on Corey.
But if I was to take that out of the equation, definitely, I'd love to see that. It'd be
yeah.
a huge shock. It would be a massive boom.
I think
And
though
it would
that
damage AEW.
I do think
That'd
that
be
it's
horrible.
what you're saying is true. Like they are contracted at the eyeballs, but I think like if WWE they've got money to throw around, and if MJF was like, I'm going to break my contract and come here, WWE like that's fine. We'll pay you $1 billion to do it.
Tony Khan's got the.
Khan's got the dollar.
He's got, what's it, 5 times Vince's wealth? Or 5 times the wealth of
I think
WWE as an
WWE
entity?
have more financial clout than AEW.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought
WWE did
Tony
because of the Saudi
Khan.
deal and everything, though.
Really? I thought Tony Khan had more than
I think he's got
WWE
more-
as an entity.
I think he's got more personal wealth than Vince. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely certain.
But like, yeah, I just think that he'd have a mean legal team that would just be, we'll take that, we'll take this.
Either way, they got the dollar.
yeah, I'm not. They've got Shane McMahon, the richest man in the world as well.
You could punch a man through a wall and make him become
The richest
chips.
and best person. Yeah, what was that?
I
man?
love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
it
Sad
was
I missed that one.
It was a weird day. My final pitch isn't as sadly outlandish as that, but it is just me doing a big filthy retcon because back when it was the build to Gargano Cole 2 out of 3 falls, I pitched that Regal should introduce Ciampa for the 3rd fall. I don't think I pitched it in one of these videos. I think it was just on Twitter. And I said, Regal should introduce Ciampa. And everyone rightly was like, how does that work in the rules of the match? You've given Ciampa a massive unfair advantage. You know, he's not had to fight the first 2 falls. If he pins one of them, does that mean he has to pin both to win? And all this sort of stuff. And I was like, that makes really good sense. So what it leads to is a split, like a civil war in the NXT roster where it's Regal's loyalists led by Ciampa against the rebels, or potentially like just the ones who feel like he's unfairly being treated, led by Cole and Gargano in a weird
And
sort
it
of
all
way.
blows off on July 4th,
Yeah, what? Wait.
Independence Day.
Oh, I see. And and that never happened, obviously, so I'm going to just jam it in now. I think that Regal should annoy someone somehow, and it leads to Team Regal versus Team Triple H at War Games.
Oh,
nice.
It's not nice, stupid. It's so stupid.
Triple H and Regal
like
had
to see
a
that.
match that was very good.
Did they?
Yeah, on Raw in 2004.
I'll just quickly do the teams, I guess, off the top of my head. So Team Regal would be...
William Regal.
No,
William Regal.
no.
William
Yeah, why
Regal.
not? William Regal.
And Dynamite Kid's nephew.
No, it's...
Oh, the Billington boys.
Just one of them.
Oh, we got to choose which one. Roll the dice.
I think Regal should be the heel in this.
I think he should be. Yeah, he should be the justified heel. It should be like he shouldn't be like outlandish. I'm going to trip you
Yeah,
up. as you walk
he
through
has
the
a
ring.
he has a just cause to
I
start
need to
this
think
civil
of a
war.
way that he annoys everyone, though, first.
I think it's Triple H who's more likely to be the bad guy.
But he's the dad.
But he's the corporate entity.
He's the dad of NXT.
But he's the corporate
He's the
entity.
daughter.
And he just takes pictures with people so he looks cool all the time.
Triple H is the biggest indie fan in the world. I love how let's get Kenda. Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Let's get... wait, what's happened to Kushida?
He's still in NXT.
He's one of those holes in the roster.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying about, maybe having a bigger show. But no, you shot it down.
We did shoot it down. So that's mine. I've really not thought this one through very much, but it all leads to Team Regal versus Team Triple H at War Games.
I've got a quick one for Tom's last one. What if it was Pac?
Oh,
Could you imagine?
No, but I mean, but
It'd
yeah,
be crazy.
that would be crazy.
Because he's got such a tie to NXT. But yeah, anyway, to yours.
I've not even. I've done basically what I've done is when I've done the homework the night before.
Yeah.
I've just gone. There you go.
I like it.
No, it's fine.
No,
You
no,
don't-
no, no, no. I like the whole concept of there being. It's a very subtle civil war between two entities. I don't know whether my only concern would be it becomes too much like it's Battle of the Authorities.
Yeah.
So then our worst fears come true, and NXT just does become like Raw and SmackDown.
I'd maybe change it so it was Undisputed Era versus a team of Johnny's choosing, and then the guy comes back in the middle of it like Austin during the invasion, and it's Ciampa.
Well, that's better.
Yeah.
You've done a better one. But
Can I give Sam a yes for
yeah,
that?
you can. I'll give you a yes as well. You've won Kona Reeves.
Yes.
And with that, actually, that was the final pitch of the video.
Yeah.
So Sam's won Kona Reeves.
Yeah,
there.
I think it's fair to say.
I don't know
that-
if I have actually.
But it was like a late. It was like a
That's a late
92nd minute
swoop.
goal.
Yeah,
that
you've
was.
done it.
Yeah.
So yes.
Well done, mate. Congratulations on owning Conor Reeves. What's the first thing you're going to do with him? Take him to the park? give him
Change
a
his
donut?
name to Kona Reeves Driver Twiddell.
Yes.
That's a lot of points on Scrabble.
Thank you very much for joining me in this video, gentlemen. Sam, do you have anything to plug?
You can follow me on Twitter at LessDefined, and you can also follow me on Instagram, which I'm really trying to get more followers on, at Less_defined.
Tom.
A World of Sport podcast special goes on this podcast stream on Bank Holiday Monday. It's a bit of a labour of love of mine, and it's got profiles of like Big Daddy, Giant Haystacks,
Oh,
Les
nice.
Kellett, interviews with authors and writers and people as well. It's a 20-minute tour de force, and it's in your stream probably now.
We're
So
doing it
enjoy
when-
that. Bank Holiday Monday it drops. So I'm presuming this is Bank Holiday.
I don't know when this is going.
This
out.
is going out probably before Bank Holiday.
Okay, well, Bank Holiday
Look out
Monday,
for
that's
that
a thing.
on Bank Holiday
That'll
Monday.
be a thing, and thank you for your love.
You can follow me at Jack the Jobber on Twitter. My Instagram is JackGKing92, I think. But anyway, and thank you very much for watching. If you've got any interesting pictures, leave them in the comment section down below. And don't forget, of course, to hit subscribe if you haven't already. And to join us. I ended that. So that was such a weird cadence. And join us. Thanks very much for watching, and let us know what you think in the comment section down below. You can follow Cultaholic on Twitter at Cultaholic and on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do, then please do check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Cultaholic, where you can pledge. And don't forget, of course, most importantly of all, to hit subscribe and to join us.